Watch Jefferson climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Come
on! What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Rumpier Sports, bringing to you once again. We got the Strokes Gain Show. I'm here with the fellas. Before I bring them in, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Summer 33. Again, that's Summer 33, 33% off your first payment over here at Rumpier Sports. Make sure you take advantage of that promo. Snyder, let's bring you in first, my man. How's it going? How was the Open Championship? What were your takeaways from the U.S. Open Championship last week?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it wasn't really what I was looking for as a course. I mean, I would like to see like an LA Open played there. I like the course as a whole. I just didn't think it was the greatest U.S. Open setup. I know there were some tougher scores there on the final day, as a lot of them were playing more defensive down the stretch there. We did see Fleet. We had 263s or 262s and a 63, if that tells you anything. But, I mean, it was fine. I'm actually more interested in this course. So we're going to see a completely different kind of setup here this week with another elevated event. But, yeah, it was fine. But it was an easily forgettable U.S. Open, I think.
Yeah. You know, I thought the course was interesting. Love to see Wyndham Clark winning. Shout out to Mike. Had the winning ticket. We've been on Wyndham Clark for a long time. I've been a Wyndham Clark guy for now, it feels like 2 years. Good to see him actually like getting it done. Was a workbench play a while back when he got the win, and then he was a core play this week. So you love to see it. Justin Rose hurt my feelings. But, I mean, Snyder, I'd call Morikawa, Wyndham Clark in my core, along with Rose. There goes the poker chips. And, you know, Rose, he battled for us, but he just fell a little short. Locks, let's bring you in, my man. How was your U.S. Open week?
Yeah, thought it was going to be really good, actually, with Rory and Ricky. Was actually turning out to be great, but Patty Reed got me, and I actually didn't play any Wyndham Clark. He was actually one of my fades. I take big stands, so I didn't play any of them, actually. Kind of mad at myself because I have been on him this year, but it is what it is. I'm happy for him. Good to see him win. Would have loved to see Ricky win, obviously. All of us would have, I think. Would have been kind of cool. But, yeah, excited to dive into another week. We've got a solid field here, so excited to dive into some winners again.
I just have to mention, and we're going to talk about this guy because he's obviously in the top, the studs. And obviously, if you go over to the heat map, look at my key stats, top ranks, he ranks at the top of everything, basically. It's Scotty Scheffler. I mean, again, another week where it didn't even look like he played good. Like, it really didn't. Like he didn't. I mean, I was talking to Snyder before our round 4 show, and I mean, he played the front 9 like below average. He waited to score on the toughest holes on the track. It is incredible what Scotty Scheffler is doing right now. I mean, just look at his last five tournaments: T5, T2, T3, third. I mean, the guy is a machine right now. It is insane. If he was putting to a 0, he'd be winning every single tournament. So, with that said, Snyder, give us a course breakdown for this week at the Travelers.
Yeah, we're moving coast to coast here this week for this week's Travelers Championship. Another elevated event's going to bring in a star-studded field here at TPC River Highlands, which is a die design. It's going to measure 6,852 yards. Just going to play as a par 70. Smaller than average bent grass greens here. Going to measure right around 5,000 square feet on average. They're going to be rolling fast here again. Similar to last week, we're going to see green speeds around 12 on the stent meter. Golfers are going to see a much different track, though, this week versus what they saw last week at the LACC. This die track possesses many dog legs. There's going to be 8 of them in total, with narrow fairways here measuring around 30 yards average wide and tree-lined. And 9 of the 12 par 4s going to play under 445, which is going to bring in short iron play and wedge play is going to be needed here. Hole 15 is a drivable par 4. It's going to play just under 300 yards. The rough here is going to be penal if you miss the fairway, though. It's going to be 4 inches plus here. That's going to put an emphasis on finding fairways for me off the tee. 5 holes are going to have water in play here. The greens can be tricky here as they're tiered and have some runoffs and such. Any type of player can have success here, though. We've seen bombers. We've seen more shorter guys that are accurate, find the fairway, have success here. But some key stats to be looking at this week: strokes gained approach, proximity 125 to 175, total driving with an emphasis on fairways gained, birdies or better percentage, opportunities gained, and then Pete Dye course history.
Yeah, very good. 4 inches of penile rough. You absolutely love to see it. Snyder, incredible breakdown as always. Each and every week, it gets me excited, gets me ready and prepared for the week. No, seriously, like I think it's an interesting transition. I was really high on par 4 scoring last week and par 3, but this week I'm even more so higher on par 4 scoring. The other things I've found are 100% in line with what you said. So good drives, finding fairways is a premium here. That's what helps Xander and Harris English over the past 2 years. And then obviously good iron and approach play. So Snyder, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. How we do it, if you're new with us, we go tier by tier using DraftKings pricing. We start with the studs and we go down through each tier. Locks, I'm going to start with you this week. We're going 10K and up. That's Patrick Cantlay, all the way up to Scotty Scheffler. What are you doing with the studs this week?
Yeah, looking up top right away. I mean, the talking point right away is going to be Scheffler. What are you going to do with Scheffler, right? I mean, at this point, I don't know how you just completely X this guy out. He's live to win every single time he steps on the course. So I don't know. I can't completely fade this guy. I love him every week. So I think he's obviously one of the favorites here. Again, going to be high owned. I'm fine going there, but it's how you're going to build your lineup. So I'll talk about the other 4 guys because we all know most people are going to want to play Scotty at least a little bit. Looking at the other guys here, I'm kind of interested in Xander and Cantlay. I'm going to be a little bit off of McIlroy and Rahm, I think, here are going to be my 2 fades. And I'm going to play Xander and Cantlay here. Just a little bit of interest. Tee to green wise, solid players, hit a lot of greens. They both putt pretty well. I like them here. I think I'm going to play these 2 guys. Cantlay is going to come in a little higher owned too, but I'm okay with that. So it's Xander, Cantlay, and Scotty for me up here.
Yeah, very good. The big question is what to do with these guys, Scotty Scheffler, Rory. I mean, Rory too, he's right there. Like he had every opportunity in the world to get it done. I think maybe he's waiting for the Open Championship to get it done, a place that he already won. So what was that, 9 years ago, 2014? That'll be interesting. But Snyder, what are you doing with the top 10K and up range? What are you doing with our boy Scotty? Are you playing Rory? Are you fading anyone in this range? What are you doing with these guys?
Yeah, I'm going to continue to be overweight on Scotty. I've been overweight on Scotty every single event. 0 chance I'm going away from him right now. He just continues to just be a ball striking machine there. He's gaining more than a stroke to the next guy, Tee to green, over the last 24 rounds. I think he was 13th here last year. And looking back at the round by round stats, round 4, he lost strokes approach. He lost 0.84 strokes approach. That was only the second time in the last 16 rounds that he's lost strokes gain approach, and it just came at the absolute worst time as he was hunting down yet another major. But I think I'm going to go right back to him for sure. I mean, I keep playing him every week. He keeps getting top 5s. It's definitely not hurting me or anything, so I may even lock him, as I don't really like any of these other 10K guys as much. If I was going to pick one, it'd probably be Xander over Cantlay. It looks like Cantlay is going to be the most popular guy on the whole slate I'm seeing on a couple different sites. Looks like Cantlay is going to edge out Scheffler to be the most popular guy. He does have great course history here. Top 15 in all 5 of his last 5 trips here. But if he finishes, 11th to 15th again, I don't think that's going to be enough to pay off his price tag there. And if I was going to play another guy, it would probably be Xander. I'd probably go to him over Cantlay. I think he'll be lower owned. He won this event last year. Was showing signs the 1 round, but Xander just looking by round, he was really good the first day, obviously shooting at 62, but the other 3 rounds, I mean, he just really struggled around the green. He struggled ball striking one of the days. He lost over 2 strokes off the tee and then lost with the irons in around the green the final day. He kind of just melted after playing an absolute flawless, perfect round. Gained over 9 strokes round 1, shooting at 62, and then I think he was close to losing strokes total the last 3 rounds. So I think I would side with Xander, but I'm going to be possibly even just locking Scotty this week. I mean, you can make a case for Rory. He doesn't have the greatest course history here. He's coming off a letdown. I think I'll probably be off of him. And then Rahm, he had that strong final round, but something looks a little off in his game. I'm just not completely sold on Rahm, so I'm going to be heavy on Scotty, and then possibly playing Xander if I can fit another guy in.
I mean, the thing with so starting with Jon Rahm, I think he's the guy that gets squeezed. At least that's what it looks like. I have a ton of interest in him this week. He profiles very well for what I'm looking at. Very high on par 4 scoring, very high on guys that can find greens or find fairways. That's Jon Rahm. He ranks 5th, even through this last stretch where, it looks like something's off, but still you got a 2nd place finish, a T10, a T15, a T16. And it's crazy that a guy like that feels a little off. And then, you got multiple wins during that stretch where he looked unbeatable. What I saw on Sunday, I think he's starting to round into form. I think he's starting to find some stuff. The putter is starting to trend back up. That's what I want to see. And when I look at this rolling, the last 24 rounds of the putting chart that I look at, he looks good. The only guy ahead of him is in this group is Schauffele. He's ahead of Scheffler. He's ahead of Rory. I like Rahm here. I think he gets squeezed. I think he's going to be a really good tournament play. My fear with Rory is you're going to be taking driver out of his hands on a few of these holes, and that takes away one of his biggest weapons. Snyder, real quick, we're not going to see the wide open fairways this week like we saw last week, right? But those on 18, Wyndham Clark, I thought he was in the bleachers. I mean, this ball was all the way. I thought he was and he was in the fairway. Crazy. I'm like, I need to play that course. If he can do that and hit that fairway, I can hit fairways out there.
Supposedly, I was listening to XM radio today, and supposedly where he hit that drive, that's normally rough for this course for the main membership, and for some reason it was not playing as rough for this event, which just completely boggles my mind how they can do that. But I think we're going to see ownership really, really spread out though. For once in this 9K range, I think everybody will be 15 to 20% in this whole 9K and up range this week. It looks like. Yeah.
So I do think though, it feels like Rahm is getting squeezed a little bit. You got Xander, who's popular. He's popular last week. Cantlay's the stats guy, profiles very well. You got Scotty, which I'm with you guys. I'm with you on Scotty. The guy he's a machine, absolute machine. Once he gets that putter going, I thought we saw signs of it last week too. I thought we saw some signs, but it seemed like everyone was putting good on those greens. It seems like those greens were rolling so pure. It seemed like everyone was dropping insane bombs. So it's hard to take too much away from that. And then Rory, I think everything's setting up for him to go and get a major at I was just literally just looking at the course.
Yeah, Royal Liverpool.
Royal Liverpool. So it would just be his, it would really make sense. It would be what everyone is probably hoping for, him to win there again. So I like Rahm. I think Rahm's going to be my favorite play in tournaments, but it's hard to cross off any of these guys in this range. We do like to make stands, though. I think if I was forced to fade someone, it would be Rory. And I've been high on Rory for a while now. His game looks good. He's starting to get back to that Rory that I think, we saw a few years ago. He's going to get a win. I could see him getting a major championship at the Open. I really do. So, but this event, I think it's more of a Rahm event for me. I'm going to be on Jon Rahm. And then, Xander, Cantlay, it's hard to pick between those guys. I think maybe going a stud plus there's one thing, and you hit it, you hit the nail on the head, Snyder, with the few tweets that you had. Shorter hitters can do good here. In the term, I think what you use, Hobbit season this week, we might be able to go 2 studs plus some absolute punts. Might work this week. Rahm, Scheffler build is going to be something I'm looking at. Rahm is my favorite in the 10K and up range. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Helps us out a lot. Also, please don't bring up Justin Thomas. I don't want to cry on this show. That might happen if we bring up Justin Thomas. I know I was talking to a member. I don't have a paper bag. I was supposed to bring one. My kids were supposed to make one. I was supposed to wear it for the show because that's how bad Justin Thomas is right now. It's sad. It's really, really sad. We're not there. We got the 9K range, and then he's after that. But Locks, let's go back to you. 9K range. We got Hovland all the way down to Fitzpatrick. What are we doing with these guys?
Well, I was going to cry about JT with you, but we'll dive into the 9K range. It is sad to see, but looking at these 9K guys, honestly, it's going to be about how you want to build because the 8K range below is just loaded, I think, in my mind too. So if you're building with these like 10, 11K guys, then you're not going to probably have a lot of these 9K guys are going to go down to the 8K. So I'm only going to probably be playing a couple of these guys, just being honest, in this range. I don't like Hovland. I don't like Finau. No Morikawa for me this week. So honestly, for me, it's going to be Tommy Fleetwood and Ricky Fowler in this range are going to be the two guys I have the most interest in. Just tee to green wise, this whole year, they've just been playing solid. I think Fleetwood's due for his first PGA Tour win one of these days. I thought we were going to call it the other week, but it didn't happen. So he just looks too good. He's going to get a win sooner or later. And then Fowler just looks too good to me this year too. So I like both those guys. For me, nothing really else in this range.
Snyder had the great Fowler fade going into round 4. It was a great call by him. But Ricky's been playing good. I felt he played really defensive. I think when you went down the road that he went down, where you're basically almost losing your PGA Tour card, you're the alternative for the U.S. Open last year, these top finishes, they mean a lot. And I felt like he was playing defensive, like not going for it on that par 4. I mean, there's a lot of things that he did. It felt like he was trying to protect a T5 and better to lock in those points. And it makes sense. But it is hard to get away from how good he is. And I think this track sets up well for him. But Snyder, what are you doing with the 9K range?
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy for me here. I'm probably going to play some Hovland. If I don't play Xander or Cantley and I only play Scotty up top, I'm definitely going to be mixing in Hovland. I mean, he's just playing so good at golf right now. Has a little bit of course history here. Finished 11th a few years ago here. I'm going to be off of Finau. I don't want to play him at that much. I'm going to be off Fleetwood. I know he had that really good round at the round 4, but I think he's going to gain a lot of steam here. I'm seeing him pretty highly owned. He might be, he's going to be pushing 20% probably. Just looking at his recent form there, the second.
Who is that?
Tommy Fleetwood.
Fleetwood, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing Morikawa this week. I did play him some last week. I think I'm gonna be right around 20-25% on him again this week. I mean, the ball striking is absolutely right back. He's back to that elite ball striking deal, and he actually gained a putting last week as well.
Snyder, your boy is in form right now. He was just like some stupid mistakes away from having like a freaking awesome round. Like 2 awesome rounds. So keep going. But I'm telling you, it is time that we all huddle up around Snyder and get on his boy because he's going to win us some cheese. I'm confident in that.
Yeah, definitely. You look at strokes gain approach. He's gaining over a stroke every round over the last 4 or 5 events. He gained nearly 6 strokes approach at the Memorial, gained 5.5 strokes approach last week. Gained off the tee last week. I think he's one of those guys that I'm looking forward to find fairways off the tee. Very accurate off the tee. It is back-to-back weeks gaining strokes putting, and both of those events have been on bent grass. And once again, we're at a course with bent grass, with fast bent grass greens. So I think that's gonna set up right into that's pretty much the only greens he putts good on is fast bent grass greens. Just looking back, like Augusta, Memorial, last week at LACC, some of these courses he generally putts better at that have the faster bent grass greens and such. Like look at the FedEx St. Jude. He had T5 there last year. That's another one that kind of sets up like this. So I really like Morikawa this week. I'm hoping he doesn't get that steamed up. I think a lot of people are going to go to Fleetwood and Fowler below him and some of the guys above him. So I think we're going to get him at fairly good ownership there. He's just been just money tee to green and actually gaining strokes putting the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to be on him. Not going to be on Windham off the wind. not going to be off Fowler at 9K. I mean, I was decently played Fowler on FanDuel last week. I was probably about 25% of him on FanDuel. I liked the price he had over there. I did 150 on FanDuel last week, so I was overweight on Ricky. Did play Windham over there. I had a couple of options there late Sunday, just couldn't get the right combo there at the end. But I'm going to be possibly on some Fizzy then at 9K. I think it's Hovland, Morikawa, and Fizzy for me in this range.
I think Wyndham Clark is the easiest fade that we're going to have in a while now. And this is coming from a Windham guy, Mr. Ham. I mean, look, this guy's taking interviews all week. Like he was emotional after his Wells Fargo win. And what happened? He went the next week, missed the cut at the PGA Championship. It's just mentally like the fatigue that closing out a major championship, especially against the likes of, Rory, Ricky, these guys, Scheffler right on your heels. Not easy to do. It takes an absolute mental toll on a person. And then you got interviews all week, whereas a guy like Ricky, a guy like all these other guys, they just move on to the next week. So I think Wyndham Clark is an easy fade, and people are going to play him. Like, he's going to get some ownership. Like, the Opto guys are definitely going to put him in there. I think he's an easy fade. Tommy Fleetwood, I'm with you, Snyder. Like, I got to go Morikawa over Tommy Fleetwood. Tony Finau, I'm a Tony Finau guy, but how can I play Tony Finau over Victor Hovland, over Morikawa, Fleetwood? Even like Wyndham Clark, like I just said, I'm fading him. I can't, Tony Finau can't find a fairway, and we need to find fairways here. He ranks 108th in good drives gained and finding fairways in this field. It's terrible. If you do that here, you're going to get your ass kicked. I can't play Finau. I like the Hovland call. But, man, my favorite play in this range is by far is Morikawa. I would play him if he was 10K and up. I would be very high on him. If he was 10-1, 10-2, right there with Xander and Cantlay, I would be on him this week. I love what I'm seeing. He's going to start churning out some good finishes, and he's due. He's definitely due to get it done, and he's going to start winning some money for us. So, Kyle Morikawa, I'm high on your boy right now.
All right,
I feel confident about it too.
There is a guy in this range that's putting worse than Scotty over the last 24 rounds, and it's Tony Finau. I got to have the last 24 rounds pulled up, and Finau's losing more strokes than Scotty over the last 24 rounds, which is kind of interesting.
His chart doesn't look good. I'm looking at it right now. The 24 rolling. It doesn't look good. Morikawa steadily doesn't look good, but it's kind of capped off, and it's starting to go back up. That's what we want to see. We want to see that trend line going up, and that's what we're seeing with Collin Morikawa, a positive sign. So I like it. Morikawa going to win us some cheese this week. Let's keep it going. Let's get down to, oh gosh, my guys down here. I'm in shambles. Locks, I got to go to you. Justin Thomas. Are you kidding me? What is wrong with this guy? He's terrible. He's horrible. I have no words. I'm such a donkey too. On the show last week, I'm like, put $100 on his outright at 50 or whatever to 1. I did that. What else did I do? I got in a head-to-head with our boy, Indy Jeff. What happened? I got owned. Indy Jeff owned me again, like he always does. You know what he also did? He owned me with Tommy Fleetwood over Collin Morikawa, which Tommy fired at 63. I'm like, Indy Jeff, man, absolute stud. We appreciate him. He's the man, but he owned me last week. So, but this range, Justin Thomas, Locks, please don't talk me onto him.
No, man, I can't keep going back there as much as I want to. I'm finally done. I didn't go there last week. I talked myself out of it before that. So don't do it, AP. As much as you love the guy, just do not do it. I'm going to cross his name off for sure. Homa, I don't know. Man, this guy is so tilting to me. I never get him right. I'll probably say I'm not going to play him, and he'll just have a top 10 finish again. So I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I'll kind of wait for your guys' take on Max Homa. A guy I do like here is actually the next two guys. I like Sungjae and I like Hideki. Both really tee to green wise solid. Hideki especially lately. He's just been losing with the putter bad the last few rounds here. But I'd say Hideki is probably one of my favorite in this range. Just looking at stats over the last 24 rounds, he's probably my favorite down here. And then Siwoo Kim, tee to green wise, just accurate as can be off the tee right now, hitting the ball really well. So I'd say probably Hideki, Sungjae, Siwoo Kim for me. I might have a little bit of interest in Tom Kim, but if he's as high owned as I think he's going to be, I might be a little bit more off of him. So I'll wait to hear your guys' takes. But I think it's Hideki, Sungjae, and Siwoo for me, and that's pretty much it in this range.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Tom Kim's going to be chalk. I think he's a really good play, even though he's going to be super high on. He was so good in round 3, and then he followed it up. The ball striking was awesome in round 4. Sometimes we got it. Sometimes chalk is chalk for a reason, and I think the best people identify that, and they figure out what chalk you got to eat. Tom Kim seems to be that chalk this week. But Snyder, AK range, what's your thoughts on Tom Kim? What are you doing with this range?
Yeah, starting at the top here. I'm going to be off of Homa. I didn't play him last week. I thought he was going to be popular. Bad course history here. Doesn't have the best form coming in. I'll be off him. I'll be off Sungjae and JT both again. Bad form heading in. I do like Hideki quite a bit here this week. I think his game's kind of rounding back into form. I mean, he was playing great through 3 rounds. Kind of struggled a little bit round 1, rounds 2 and 3, looked very well. And then in round 4, it was just absolutely shambles from him there. He lost approach, and he lost 2.5 approach, I think, 2 strokes putting, something like that. I mean, the putter is definitely a concern for him, but I think Hideki's going to be a lower-owned, high upside guy, I think. I think he'll probably be 13 to 16% owned. I mean, he's been playing well. He just hasn't popped yet. But I like where his game's trending, just not the putter. But it is what it is. So he's a fine guy for like 150. He's got that good upside. He did finish second here last year. Not the best form leading in, but he's got big upside. So I'll probably have him 150.
Do you guys remember that last year when he doubled that final hole?
Yeah.
Like he literally, I mean, I won't say it, but like my phrase I always say, I mean, he was right there. Like he threw it away. I mean, it's crazy. He's a guy that doesn't profile very well for me stats wise, but with a guy like him, you hit the nail on the head. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and I do like Tom Kim this week. I think he will be fairly highly owned, but I think he's just a great option, great price here. Last week was the first time in a long time where he gained strokes approach in all 4 rounds there. So I think the irons are coming around. He was so good with the irons early on, and I think it's finally coming back into form there. He also gained putting in 3 of the 4 days as well. So I like Tom Kim this week as well. Hasn't played here yet, but that's fine. He's got a couple of top 10s in his last few events. Was 23rd at the Wells Fargo. Did miss a cut at the PGA and Memorial, but I feel his game's kind of rounding in the track there. Then Siwoo Kim, and anytime you're on a Pete Dye track, you gotta at least look at Siwoo there. I think he's got upside on these Dye tracks. He's been playing really well leading up as well. Didn't do the best last week. Still finished inside the top 40, but that's not what we were looking for there. But was 4th at the Memorial and 2nd at Byron Nelson, and finished 11th here in 2020. So Siwoo's always got some upside for tournaments and such.
Yeah, I think Max Homa's been hanging out with Justin Thomas a little bit too much lately. I'm going to be off both of those guys. I just can't do it. Homa, like something seems a little off with him too. Not as off as Justin Thomas, but I can't do it. Same with Sungjae Im. Like Sungjae Im, just the results aren't good. And the margins right now, I was talking to our guy Big T, the margins in professional golf are razor thin. What I mean by that is the guys who are playing the best, you're not going if you're not bringing your A game, you're not going to hang with them at all. And you have to take in DFS formats, you got to identify who is on, which I think Colin Morikawa, good example of a guy that's now trending in form. Whereas guys like Homa, JT, I don't think we can play them until we see something, until we see a sign. Maybe it's a 2-day stretch where they're playing some really good golf. something that we can key in on. That's what you got to do in today's golf. And I'm not seeing it with him. I'm not seeing it with JT or Max Homa. I think Hideki is a good play. I think I would add Cam Young in that group. I think he's trying to find something. He looked better. But this course, I don't think is going to be a good fit for him. I'm with you guys. Like, it's Tom Kim, I think, is the best play in this range. I know he's going to be chalk. I'll find some leverage elsewhere. I would say Hideki's up there. I would say Siwoo Kim is up there. And then Thigala. If you're a believer in what he did last year, like, I don't think this is a good course fit, but he's a gamer. I think he can bring upside anywhere. So I think in 150 formats, he's a great play. In single entry, 3-max stuff, I don't think I'll be able to get to him. And then Jason Day, I just can't get there. Like, he got his win, but over his last 5 events, it's cut, win, cut, cut, cut. So I don't know. Maybe Jason Day was just so excited to get back into the winner's circle. It took a ton out of him emotionally. I mean, who knows? I just can't play J Day. So for me, I think the best play is Tom Kim. I love what I saw from him the last 2 rounds of the U.S. Open. I think it continues this week. This course is a great fit for him. I could see him going back-to-back top 10s. And if he gets a top 10 this week at 8,100, you're going to want him in your lineup. So Tom Kim, eating some chalk down there. Let's keep it going. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. We got a promo code going on right now, right down here. Summer 33, 33% off your first payment on any package over at Rumpier Sports. Take advantage of that promo if you're not signed up already. The 7K range, a lot of plays down here. Locks, what are you doing with the 7K range?
Yeah, just looking at the top of the range right away, and I'll kind of work my way down. Big range here, a lot of names you can click. I'll be trying to narrow it the best I can, but just looking up top right away, I'll be kind of – I don't know. I don't know on Adam Scott. I'll let you guys talk me in or out of Adam Scott. He looks good, looks bad. That's another guy I never get right. So I'm just going to probably wait and see approach as we get closer to listen to you guys, listen to the show tomorrow. For me, I'm crossing out Keegan Bradley. I do like Henley here. Tee to green wise, been hitting the ball really well. Always a guy I'll play here. Corey Connors, another guy. I think he's underpriced at 7,700. I absolutely love a little bit of Corey Connors this week. Tee to green wise, just an absolute stud. If he can get the putter rolling, I mean, he's a green in regulations machine. So just get a few putts going, he'll finish top 10 for us, top 15 at least. I think he's going to have a good week for us. So I'll be playing a lot of him. No English for me. I love Denny Putts. Minwoo Lee, I will be playing a little bit of. Brian Harmon, I think I'm going to go back to, honestly, our little lefty buddy. I think just course history-wise, great. Actually looked good for us last week, in all honesty. So I'll go right back to him at $7,500. Jaeger Bomb's back in the picture here. I've loved him all year. I'll go right back to the well with him. I do love him this week as well. And then just kind of looking down, I'm not sure if I'll be playing Aberg. I got a slight interest there. Eric Cole, tee to green wise, another guy. He continues to be priced down here. And I don't know why. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I think he continues to be underpriced for how he's playing this year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just think I'll keep going back to the well as long as he stays this cheap. We've seen what he can do, how he can finish. So I'll be going right back there. Looking down at the rest of these guys, I'm not seeing a ton of interest. I'm hoping not to get down this far if I don't have to. Might sprinkle in a few 6K guys, but it's pretty much from Eric Cole up for me in this range.
Yeah, very good. Snyder, a large 7K range. I know we were talking earlier today. You like this range, I believe, and the 6K range. But what are you doing down here in the 7K?
Yeah, I think this range is absolutely loaded here. I'm going to look to I think I'm going to play 150 again. I'm going to be mixing in a lot of these guys. I think there's a ton of upside down here. I think some of these 7K guys are much better than even the guys in the 8K range. Some of them. I'm going to be I think Adam Scott's a fine flop leg spot here. He missed cut last week after being pretty popular. He finished 13th here in 21. I love Russell Henley again this week. I was on him last week. He was a soldier last week, finishing 14th. That's his third straight top 20 game. Sets up very well for this track too. Probably be off of Connors. Harris English won this event back in 21. Finished 19th here last year. Really like how his game's kind of trending into this event too. He played well last week. 3rd at the Wells Fargo, 12th at the Memorial, and then he was T10 last week. I think he'll probably be somewhere around 15%, which is fine. I don't think that's going to get too out of crazy there. Denny, good form, but I don't know if his course history is the best here. No, it's not looking that good, but he's got good form heading in. He was 2nd at Memorial and top 20 last week, and 8th at the Wells Fargo. So I think Denny's fine. Min Woo's actually been hitting his irons better the last 2 events. I think he's a good MME guy I'll have in the pool. And then Brian Harmon's definitely the course horse here. I mean, top 8 for the last 5 years here. Played well last week. Not great, but not terrible. I mean, he played good enough on a couple of the rounds. Should be probably the most popular guy, I think, in this range, potentially. Kind of like a cash option, but I think he's fine. Jaeger is a solid tournament play. I think he'll be sub 5%. He's played well so far this year. Aberg, he's that newer, popular guy. Did finish 25th at the RBC. He's a guy I'll have in the pool. Eckroat, your guy Eckroat, great recent form heading in, averaging over a stroke gain tee to green his last 24 rounds. So I like Eckroat. Sue, great upside GVP guy. He'll probably be around 5% or lower too. I like him. TPC Lee at the bottom of this range, kind of 2 top 20s here of his last 4 trips. He'll be like 1 to 3%. I think he's definitely like a 5% guy you can have. Our guy, Nasty Nate's down here. Nate Lashley, he's been playing pretty well heading in. And then Billy Horschel's here, and I think he's in there. I'll have a little bit of Billy just because of I think he actually figured out his irons. I mean, he played decent last week, 43rd, 7K for Billy. He's got some upside. Hasn't made the cut here, but he hasn't played here since 2020. He's option. CT Pan's an interesting guy. He's popped his last 2 events, top 5. He's missed his last 4 of his last 5 cuts here, but I think he's a solid tournament play, high upside guy. That's pretty much it for me down here. I don't see myself really getting to anyone else. Sam Bennett's here. He's looked all right a couple of times, but I don't think I'll get there.
It's a loaded range. I agree with you 100% on that. You can, I mean, honestly, we like the 10K and up range. We like the 9K range. 8K range, I mean, we like the lower half of it outside of Hideki. And then it's this range. We got, like for me, Russell Henley. I think he's going to be a really nice play. He ranks in all the stuff I'm looking at. The only negative hit to him is putting, but everything else, you know, he ranks 6th in approach. He ranks 13th in finding fairways, ranks 9th in par 4 scoring. Those 3 things I'm grading very highly this week. And then his recent form. He's made, I mean, not even just made a bunch of cuts. He's finishing inside the top 20 on a regular basis. It happened last week too, T14. I know you were high on Russ Henley last week, Snyder, and Locks. And so I think we go back to Henley. This is where like some chalk is going to be. Tom Kim, chalk. Siwoo, chalk. Henley, chalk. Don't play all 3 together. Like you can play some of these guys, but don't play all 3 chalk guys together. Just don't do that and you'll be fine. I would actually add Harris English in there as well. I love so just looking at this, it looks like Harris English is going to be mega chalk. Even Corey Connors is projecting to be lower owned than Harris English. I'm a Harris English guy. He's looked great. He's a winner here. But I'm telling you, there are things about his game where he is not fully back yet. He looks great. He's been a beast in the U.S. Open. It's just been his thing. And he obviously has won here. He's close, but still, I would play a lower-owned Connors over Harris English if that's going to be how it maps out ownership-wise. So I really, again, I like Harris English, but love Corey Connors. He checks a ton of boxes.
Both right around the percentage point. I think they'll both be right around 15.
Right around the same. That makes sense too. But if you had to play just one, and I mean between the 2, like Snyder, who you play? If someone said you can only play one, who finishes better this week? Who do you think it's going to be?
I think they're basically the same play, and I'd probably play Harris English. So just based off the putter there, he's gained almost 2 strokes putting his last 4 or 5 rounds. He was good at the Memorial putting. He was definitely very good last week putting. The putter's kind of coming around there. The ball striking's been hit or miss for him there, though. I mean, that would be the only mistake there. I think the off the tee's been good. But the irons have been kind of hit or miss. I mean, he was great with the irons at the Schwab and the PGA and the Wells Fargo. Last week he gained 2 of 4 rounds with the irons there, but the short game has definitely been there for him.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Denny, I think, is really interesting too. I know the course history isn't the best, but look, he's playing better golf than he's ever played before. So I think if you're a course history guy, which I think we are, you throw it out the window. We don't really care about his course history here. I care about what he's been doing for us lately. What has he been doing? He's always putting lights out. That's one thing he's always done. He is finding fairways at an extremely high clip. He ranks 6th in good drives, finding fairways, and he ranks 10th on par 4 scoring. The only hit to him is his approach game, but those 2 things kind of override it, and I think Denny McPutts, as we call him, is going to be a good play. You guys talking me into Brian Harman? He's a course horse guy too. I mean, if you haven't seen it yet, go look at his history here. T8, T5. He did miss a cut in 2020. Then T8, T6, going back the last 5 years. Really impressive stuff from Brian Harman. I think he's going to be a great play. I like Benny On too. Benny On he's a ball striker, usually good at finding fairways. The putter is usually what lets him down, but he's made 4 of his last 5 cuts, and the finishes are decent. I think he's a cut maker type here. I think he's got T20, maybe better upside. At 7,500, I think he's going to make for a decent tournament play this week. Jagerbomb, I know he was mentioned as well. He's just a cut-making machine, so he's going to be someone that I always just have in my pool, especially in 150 formats. Steven Yeager, I think he's a phenomenal play. Eric Cole, Locks, I'm with you on him. This guy, he's just a good golfer. I think this course is going to be a good fit for him too. Good ball striker, good at finding fairways, good putter. The guy, he's too cheap. I think price-wise, he should probably be like, not like a lot higher, but like 7,600, 77, maybe 78. So we're getting a little bit of value on him. Austin Eckroat, we're on him in Showdown. We were on him last week. Just the guy's an absolute machine when it comes to finding fairways. He ranks 2nd in good drives. Again, that's what we want this week. We want someone who's finding these fairways and has the approach game. He has it. He ranks in the top 25 in approach. He ranks 2nd in good drives. He ranks 19th in par 4 scoring and inside the top 20 for tee to green play. Eckroat has made 5 cuts in a row, a T2 at the AT&T Byron Nelson, T10 last week. He looked so good on that final round. I'm a donkey, and I was so high on him in round 3, and he didn't get it done for us in Showdown. But round 4, he was an absolute hero. Got it done. He had the absolute nuke of a round. Just going down here, again, just alludes to what Snyder was saying, how stacked this range. And I have interest in Andrew Putnam. I think Putnam's playing good golf. He had that T5 at the Memorial. He backed it up with a made cut at the U.S. Open. Not like the finish that he probably wanted. I think he struggled, like the final round. I think he bounces back. I think, he's made 3 cuts in a row at the Charles Schwab, the Memorial, and the U.S. Open. I think he profiles pretty good. He's good at finding fairways, and his iron game is on point, and he's actually putting pretty good right now. So Andrew Putnam's the guy I like. Justin Suh, Snyder, I think you're also on him. His putter's on fire right now. This guy just seems like he's, when you're looking at leaderboards, he's up there. He's just up there. So I have interest in Justin Suh, Brendan Todd, a little bit of interest. And then I got to go to Nasty Nate as well, down at the flat 7K range. Another guy I like. So this is going to be a range that I'm really high on. I'm going to make cuts in the 8K range. I'm going to have my 9K guys and then my 10K and up guys. And it's going to make for a really nice player pool. I think my overall favorite play in the 7K range has to be let me just go up here a little bit. I'm going to say I don't want to give a chalk play. I'm going to say in tournament, man. There's so many chalk. I'm going to say Andrew Putnam as it'll be not chalk.
He finished top 15 here 2 years ago as well in 2021.
Yeah, T13. Yeah,
I
he's made three. He's made three cuts here.
I like the Benny on call too.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker for Benny on. The guy he's such a good ball striker. Gets it. He's just a bad putter, but as long as he putts to a 0 or close to, he's going to be in the mix. Let's keep it going though. Let's get down to the 6K range. Locks, we'll go right back to you. What are you doing with this range?
Yeah, honestly, I don't have a ton of interest in the lower 7K range just because I actually like a few names up in the top of this range and actually down quite a ways that I might be doing a little stars and scrub action this week. And I really don't mind it looking at some of these names down here. So just going down the list, I mean, Smalley and Riley, I'm going to be off of. The couple guys I do like right away are Doug Gim. Tee to green wise, I mean, hitting a ton of greens, hits the ball super accurate. I do like me a lot of Doug Gim this week, actually. Another guy is Lee Hodges. I see him sub 5%. Been playing really well this year, especially recently. I mean, 25th, 12th, 29th, his last 3 times out, 25th here last year. So I do have some interest there. And then my big fade here is I think a guy that's going to get steamed up just because he's playing super well lately. Good course history is Hubbard. I'm going to fade him, honestly. I think he's probably going to come in around 10, 15%, which isn't huge, but I think he's going to be a guy I'm going to be off of compared to the field down in this range. I do like Michael Kim. I've liked him all year. Been one of Snyder's soldiers as well, so I'll be going back to Michael Kim here for sure. Streel Daddy, I do like him here. Tee to green wise, just always a stud. Good course history here. I do like going back to him. Mackenzie Hughes is actually playing decent golf lately with good course history. So I'll be going back to the well with him a little bit. Not a ton, but I'll sprinkle him in at $6,800 because of the price. Sam Stevens, $6,800. Tee to green wise, another guy, super accurate off the tee lately. Been playing good golf. Makes a ton of birdies, so I do like him down here as well. The guys I'm not sure. I'll wait to hear from you guys if you guys are playing Ches Reavie or any of these guys down in this range, these smaller guys with just good course history. Reavie reminds me of Harmon, obviously, opposite side of the ball, but I don't mind me a little Ches Reavie here, honestly. At a course like this, it suits him well, and you can tell by his course history here, so I'll sprinkle in a little bit of him down here. I might throw a little combo of Dylon Wu with Kevin Yu. I'm not quite sure, but I'll wait to see what we hear from Snyder's soldiers and what we got down in this range because I always like to hear a few of these guys. But just to name a few others, Smotherman, I'll be going back to him. Carson Young, Sam Ryder, I think is interesting at $6,500. There's a lot down here, I think, that are going to get overlooked and they're going to get low owned because of how many 7 and 8K guys there are in play. So I like some low percentage guys down here.
Yeah, very good. I mean, some of these guys are dusty, but there are some really good plays. Well, I was just looking at Jimmy Walker. I'm like, this dude's back in the field.
Not playing Hemi?
No, we're not playing Hemi. We're not playing Hemi.
He's no Hemi?
No, he's not him. Snyder, 6K range, a range that I know you said you had some guys that you're high on. What are you doing with 6K range?
Yeah, I love this range again. I think it's going to be me taking stands up top and just mixing in these guys. I do want to set some rules on Sabre, though, for 150. I don't want to play more than 2 of these guys, even kind of going up to the bottom of the 7K range. I think I'll make a group and go max 2. I don't want too much of these guys, but I want to get a good mixture of these guys in. I think there's some really strong options down here. Doug Gim, strong recent form heading in. Ball striking, needs the putter to kind of heat up or at least break even. I'll have him in there. And then Lee Hodges and Hubbard are both right there. I think I would pivot to Hodges off Hubbard for like a main or like single entry 3 max build. But I'm definitely going to keep playing Hubbard. I mean, he's just playing too good a golf right now. Price down. He's made the cut here all 3 times, finished 13th in 2021. And he's finished inside the top 30 in 5 of his last 6 events. I mean, I can't just get away from that. I'll be overweight the field on him. I just keep playing these guys that are in good form. I mean, there's just no way to go away from him. I don't think so, but I'm going to be on him. I think Michael Kim's a name right there too. Strill Daddy for the last 5 years. He's been top 33 here. I think he's an interesting guy. He was 9th at the Charles Schwab. Made the cut last week, but wasn't nothing great, 49th. But I think he's fine at this tournament. Ches, he won this event back in 19. Finished 8th last year and 25th and 21. So this might kind of be like the Ches Reavie Open. He's actually looked all right. He's made he's made his last 4 cuts. So he was 25th at the Canadian Open. So I think Ches is fine. Vincent Norman hasn't been playing well the last couple of weeks, but it still holds good upside. I'll probably have a little bit of him. Carson Young's a great tournament play down here. Only 6,500 for Carson Young in this field. I'll have some of him. He was 21st at the Charles Schwab, 14th at the Byron Nelson, 15th at the Mexico Open. So he's showing some pretty good upside, and 6,500 is pretty cheap for him. Lipsky's another guy I'll be on. Dylon Wu is another guy I'll probably be on. He's been playing really good. 4 of his last 6 events have been top 32. Did miss the cut here last year, but I think he's a solid option. He'll be like 1% owned down here. He's been accurate off the tee as well. 62% of his fairways, hitting about 70% of his greens regulation as well. I think he's fine. Andrew Novak's upside guy down this range. I think there's a lot of good guys you can just gravitate towards down here. I think this is a really, really good MME week. If you want to take some stands on your studs up top and kind of mix in these values in the 7 and 6K range, I love it.
I was just looking at this, and I'm glad you brought that up. But we talked about those, and you don't have to use Rahm. You don't got to be with me on Rahm, but you go Scheffler, Rahm. That's 11-3, 10-8. You go a Novak, and then one other guy I'm going to talk about that's even lower than him. I mean, you got 7,600 left per position. I love that route, especially if you want to just think about taking stands. And is Scotty Scheffler, when's the last time he's ever hurt you? He really just hasn't. You lock him in, you mix and match these punts down here. It's been a while since we've truly gone that full-on stud value. And with this being an elevated event, with the fact that we've seen kind of not unknowns, but your shorter hitters win here. Like Harris English, not a long hitter, Ches Reavie, Brian Harman, those types that we've been talking about. Kramer Hickok, he's going to be a guy I'm talking about. He had that playoff against Harris English. They went 7-8 rounds. I love that path. I think that path is going to be really nice. What we've seen is we've seen all these balance builds, and we already talked about 8K range. You're going to see so much chalk in that range. One way just to get different is to go this route. You avoid all that chalk, or at least multiple. That's where you could bring in one chalk piece, and that's fine, versus having 2 or 3, which I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of those chalky plays. I think that's a great path. I think it's really sharp in tournaments this week. Just going through this range, I'm with both of you guys. I think there's a lot of good plays. Hubbard, I'm with you, Snyder. I think he's good. Lee Hodges, Locks, I think that was a great call. I also like Kevin Streelman, Streel Daddy. He's starting to play some decent golf. Good course fit for him. Has some decent history here. A second in 2020. T25 last year. He's got a T15. Yeah, Streelman looks to be a great play this week. Ches Reavie, we all talked about him. Obviously won here. But he's got multiple top 10 finishes too. T8 last year. I mean, Ches is going to be a phenomenal play. Dylan Wu. I think he's a good play. My boy Andrew Novak. I think Snyder, you brought him up, right? Mm-hmm. Novak, he's just playing good golf. He's in his second year, sophomore year. I think he's making cuts. He's putting himself in position for good finishes. And he's 6,600. He's another one of those guys that in those stud and value builds that make a lot of sense. Carson Young too. We didn't even talk about Bennett. This dude looks like a stud too. He's 7K. Eric A was mentioning him. I think Bennett's fine also. All of these guys could be a factor here. That's what I think makes the 2 studs plus punting or multiple punts really attractive, just because you have so many different types of golfers that can do well and win here. Speaking of that, we haven't done a true notebook play in a while. I think we got to bring it back this week. I want to go to, and I already mentioned him, so I kind of gave it away, Kramer Hickok. So this is the dude that battled Harris English for 7 holes in the playoff and just lost. He's good buddies with Sam Burns. I remember Sam Burns and his wife. His wife and Sam Burns' wife must be good buddies or something. They're all sweating it, watching him. I remember that vividly because Snyder, you were on him that week. I know I had an outright on Harris English, so we were rooting against Hickok. This dude lost his game. Going back to 2022, 1,900 missed cuts, it seemed like, in a row. He obviously had a couple made cuts in there, but his game was in shambles. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. Is it much? I mean, he's got some mixed cuts this year, but he's starting to make cuts, and not only make cuts, he's shown some upside. A 14th at the Honda, 21st at the Charles Schwab. Again, he's 6,400. We're not like trying to post wins or anything. We want T20 or better and good scoring. His ball striking looks good. If you look at him tee to green over his last four tournaments, he's been very positive in 3 of the 4, and he's been good with his approach game. It just comes down to his putting. I think you get him on a familiar track, a track that he had an opportunity to win. I think he brings it together, and I think he's going to make for a super low on play. I mean, he's going to be what, like 0.5%, maybe less than that?
Probably. I mean, if he can just if he can only lose 1 stroke putting versus the 3 he's normally been losing, he's definitely going to be right there, I think.
Yeah, not a workbench play, kid. Not a workbench play, a notebook play, 0.5% own. You play him in your two stud and value builds. That's what you do. Don't get crazy with him. He's a 3 to 5% play. That's probably all you need. You'll be plenty overweight doing that. That's Kramer Hickok, though, I think is going to be an interesting play. I like a lot of these guys down here. I'm with you guys on that. I think it's a really interesting range. It makes the 2 stud builds really attractive. You got like Doc Redman's been pretty bad, so I can't get there. But you got a lot. You got Eric Van Rooyen, Locke's your boy. You can play him. He's missed a bunch of cuts though. Doesn't look good. You got a lot of guys down here that you could play around with.
He's like JT to me right now.
Yeah. I mean, Chesson Hadley, he finished 5th here last year. I'm going to sprinkle in a lot of these guys. I'm going to open up the player pool, but when I do that, I'm going to take some stands. Like I'm talking like 70%, 80% Scotty. You know, maybe 70%, 80% Rom. You do that, allows you to mix and match. And if those guys hit, you just need these guys, these sprinkles that you have down here to make the cut and then get you a decent finish, and you're going to be sitting good. I think it's an interesting path this week. Let's get to our winners. Final thoughts, and we'll get out of here. Locks, we'll go to you. Who do you think wins, and then who is a longer shot that you like this week?
You know, I hate to feel like I'm taking a chalk guy, but I really think Cantlay is taking this thing home this week. He's looked solid lately. The course history is just immaculate. I think LaCava still in the bag for him, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so I think LaCava is going to get his first win without Tiger here since taking over for Cantlay. So I think Cantlay is going to take it down. What are Thigala's odds, actually? Do you got those pulled up, Sonny?
Yeah, I got it.
I just saw Justin Thomas Brian Harmon is the same odds as Justin Thomas.
Oh God,
I got to log off.
Got
in the show, guys. Got in the show.
I've just seen JT's odds. He's not good.
What's Thigala?
Thigala is a little worse. 71 is the best number you can get. I'm
gonna go with Sahith Thigala as my long shot to win this tourney here. Second here last year, just like AP said, he's a gamer, man. Has looked solid this year. He's going to win one sooner or later, so why not now?
All right, very good. Snyder, who do you got winning this week?
I'm going to go with a guy I was really surprised looking at these odds to see where this guy was. This guy is priced in the 7Ks, but his win odds are better than a majority of the 9K guys. And I'm going to go with, make sure you shop the line here. Russell Henley is 35-1 pretty much everywhere, but you can find a 40 out there in a couple spots. So make sure to line shop there. He's got better odds to win than Fowler, the same as Fleetwood, the same as Fitzpatrick, same as Tom Kim, all those guys right there. Max Homa was significantly worse odds than Russell Henley. So I like Russell Henley to get it done. He hasn't won an event since last November, but I feel he's definitely been knocking on the door, and I think this week he gets there. And for a longer shot going down the board, I'll go with trying to find someone deep down there. Let's go with CT Pan. Why not? 150 to 1. He's got 2 top 5s in his last 3 events. I mean, that's definitely a 150 to 1. If he's anywhere near the lead Sunday, that's a super easy hedge out spot too.
I like it. I got to go John Rahm, 12 to 1. I don't think it's a good bet, but I like him to win. And I think he's going to make for a good DraftKings play. Tom Kim. I wish the odds were a little bit better, but man, I feel like this is going to be a guy when he gets in form, you want to get on fast. And then when he's out of form or if the course is not a good fit, what isn't a good fit for him? Long tracks. You know, if he can, he's not the longest hitter, but the dude is insanely good with the iron play. This track's going to set up very well for him. I think he's going to be in contention. I wish the odds were a little bit better. It's not like I saw 35 to 1. Do you see anything better on Tom Kim? Like 40, 45 to 1?
He's right around, where did he go? 35 is pretty much everywhere. There's a couple 33s out there, but 35 mainly. Yeah,
I wish it was a little bit better, but man, like he's right there with Henley. He's just going to be such a good DraftKings play, and you can play him in those 2 stud builds as long as you're putting, and you only can play one of those guys. But I kind of like that path. Locks, what's your final thoughts this week?
Yeah, not much. I'm not seeing any weather really affect anything. So just like I always say, watch the Discord. We'll update you any late withdrawals, everything else. But yeah, rewatch the show a couple times. You want to catch our player pools and who we're high on or not. Like, subscribe. Hey, take advantage of that 33% off. It's a pretty great deal we got going on. So hit the like, subscribe. Let's pick some winners. Let's see at the top.
Yeah, very good. Snyder, final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts. I wasn't going to pick Scotty as my outright, but I think this is the time we finally see Scotty walk away with one here. Changed the putter last week, gained strokes putting on 3 of the 4 rounds last week. I think this is the week we see Scotty walk away with a 5 to 7 shot win here. Ball strikers track. I think this is really going to emphasize his tee to green game. If he can just get that putter to keep rolling, gain strokes putting, I think he walks away with this one. But we're going to have all the content up. I'll have the playbook up. I'll have the cash chart up. Showdown round 1 will be up tomorrow for round 1. And then rounds 2, 3, and 4, I'll have that up. A couple of shows coming at you, including the bet show tomorrow as well. So we'll have all the content up. Make sure and check on that. And the Soldiers will be out tomorrow morning as well. So still narrowing down which guys I'm going to have in there. I don't want to have too many chalky guys in there, but I mean, that 7K range and 6K range is loaded. So all 3 really good ones, I think.
Very good, Snyder. Great stuff. My final thoughts are hit the like, hit the subscribe, use the code SUMMER33 right below me, right down there for 33% off any package here at Run Pure Sports. That promo is not going to be alive forever. So take advantage now if you haven't yet. We will have all the premium content up tomorrow, the premium shows tomorrow as well with Big T, Red Kachik, the crew, Uncle T as well. Make sure you're signed up. Watch those guys as well. With that, Snyder, Locks, I'm AP. Snyder, get us out of here.